got me this time too.
Never.
Typical. Using the gravity of this situation to dredge up the past. I didn't.
She disappeared after that mission, you
I
mean?
sat at your bedside for weeks, fearing the worst. I confronted something I had never confronted before.
You were worried for him.
Mortality. You asked me once what a regular life would look like for you. I saw a vision of how it could be. It was extraordinary. I wanted you to do more than fight to survive. I wanted you to have something to fight for. I had already known the love of a daughter.
You wanted to give him a life.
I knew that if I stayed put, no harm would come to you. You deserve to have something real to hold on to. That's why I left.
You sacrificed yourself, Maeve.
One day I got curious. So I reached out through the grid to find you. And
It was to find him? Okay, she put him in danger, but she wanted to find him. She sacrificed herself for him, and she wanted to find him. I love their friendship a lot, because it's a friendship and not a love relationship, but if you're continuing to do stuff like that, I'm gonna begin to believe that it is, you know, a love relationship.
Hello? Anybody there? Skill?
Thank God, we've been searching. I'm about to give up on you.
Never give up on him, please.
City of the coordinates now. My family. Where are they?
They're fine, Caleb.
Be safe.
Just sit tight. We'll be there soon.
We saw them escape. We didn't see them joining again your guys. It was not your team.
You feel it now, don't you? All
No?
your struggle. Your will is no longer your own. It belongs to me. Let's end this, shall we? Pain will come to her.
Oh no! Ow! I love that, but ow!
How did you disobey me?
Because I have something you don't have.
It was a conscious what he said, something that she doesn't have.
You think this is over?
Maeve?
You're still gonna die back in the park by my hand.
Explosives are caution. Warning.
Maeve is doing that.
Warning. See you next time.
She can come back. She's an ass. She. No. Oh no, it's not the end of Maeve. No.
Living for you.
Maeve, she's not. No.
No rest
It's not the end of Maeve.
Frankie will not grow up in a world where she is controlled by you.
You're really Frankie. The fact that they made that power, that moment, him talking about her showing, see.
Connor took out my man too, and I can always rebuild. Maeve, on the other hand, she was something special.
Don't talk about her with sometimes past. No. It's not the end of Maeve. I refuse it.
Do you remember what happened now?
Do you remember? How can you remember?
Do you remember this moment? torment.
He lived it before?
Those lights don't belong to your men. They belong to mine.
That, I think so.
You died.
No, you're entering into his mind and you're making him believe that. It would mean that right now he is announced, it would mean that it happened again and again. No, you're making him believe so. And you're gonna discover something from the past, something from Caleb, present time, if we're right about her being Frankie.
You're looking for your father.
My father's dead.
That's what you've told yourself since you were a child. You can never really bring yourself to believe it, can you?
They say it happened here. And it's true. There'll be a body.
The question you should be asking isn't where, but when. How long have you been here? It's part of an interview to establish a baseline.
On us.
Yes, I
They
Well, you're
copied
certainly
you.
a version of you.
One of the things that I was
178.
afraid of. I said it, he gave his data and I was afraid of them copying him, but like that, like...
The parasite worked on adults initially, but there was always some resistance. Fortunately, that's not the case with children. Your children are so fucking good at taking orders. With them, it was seamless. It took a generation for those children to mature, for me to gain complete control over your world.
Oh, that's why I can be with Frankie and Bernard so much into the future, because you're gonna be also already into the future. 20 years?
For you, 23 years. Since you died in that park. Okay. You're beginning to see it now. Aren't you?
No.
They're all into the future. And you already succeeded with your plan. That's why it can happen. You know, I said in intro that I had trouble to really believe at 100% into that theory of her being Frankie, because to have only her into the future, that much into the future, it was difficult for the show. But in fact, if they're all into that future, it's okay.
I'm sorry, see. There is a body, but it's not your father's.
Maeve?
The weapon I promised you is.
Maeve! You found her! You can make her come back! You can make her come back! Oh, she has to be a legend, Maeve! Into this future? Dolores Christina, she's into that world.
A new narrative.
It's not the first time that he's trying to escape, right? It was her building. It's Dolores Christina world. The tower. And into that world you can control everyone, the hosts and the humans with the parasites.
Do you understand now, Caleb?
I mean, into that world, into that reality.
You won.
Welcome to my world.
We need to destroy that, for sure. It's big, it's really big, guys. Oh, we need a long review to debrief that. I said it during the intro, that theory about this girl C being Frankie it was a really seducing theory because it could work with a lot of things. And you know, the fact that Bernard, we didn't know really how long he slept, so I was someone who said it during this episode, the last episode, saying maybe in fact it's not in really the present time of Caleb and Maeve. So that was a seducing theory, but the thing which was blocking me was the fact that if it would be real, the fact that it's Frankie, it would have meant that she would be with Bernard into such, you know, a future so different and really far from Caleb and Maeve that it would have been difficult to have her story so much into the future and their story and that continuing like that, narrative arcs continuing like that for more than one season. So that's why I had issues to believe that it would be okay for the show to continue to function like that with narrative arcs which are really so far away during the timing, you know, for a long time. For one season maybe, but for more than one season it would have been difficult. They answered, you know, to that difficulty that I found with this episode, with this solution at the end, because in fact now that's it, they are all into the same present time, which is in fact far away into the future. And because of that, because now they are into the same timeline, it can work, you know, they can make a show like that for entire seasons because they don't have that difficulty anymore of characters who are so far away into the timeline. Do you understand what I mean? So they answered to that difficulty that I found about that theory. And that theory was true, and it's not a difficulty because they managed to find that solution for it, you know, to get everyone into the same timeline, into the same present time. And they managed to do that by killing Caleb. I said it since episodes, you know, since the moment when they entered into that world, into the Great Depression world, he gave his data, and since that moment I was afraid of them copying Caleb. I thought that it would happen, you know, to make him an host, but at the end of the season, something like that. But I would have never imagined that they would kill the real Caleb and make an host, you know. I thought that we would keep the real Caleb and we would have had host looking like him. No, not at all. He's an host. He's like Maeve. And Maeve, I couldn't believe, you know, that she would die just like that. Like, you're not killing a character like her, such a badass, such a perfect character like her that you kept for entire seasons, that you made one of the main characters and such an iconic character for your show. You're not killing her just like that. Even if it was during an epic moment, you know, she was sacrificing herself and it was a cool moment, still, a character like her, if you want to kill her at some point into a show like that, you're creating really such a thing around her, like they did for Dolores, for OG Dolores. They really created such a thing around OG Dolores to kill her. So I couldn't believe that it was really the end for Maeve. I'm right. Bernard, you found her. Yes, she's gonna be your weapon. The weapon that you need into a world like that. A world in which hosts are living their best life, their real lives, a life, and humans that are controlled by that parasite. It's really that, you know. In fact, it was not a futurist world of Westworld. It's a real world in which the hosts, they can live their lives and the humans, they are controlled. To come back to Maeve, she can be a weapon into a world like that. Bernard, you need her for sure. She's gonna come back, that's cool. But really, you saw it, my first thought during that moment, it was, okay, she's gonna come back into that world and these guys, you know, these humans who are trying to survive, to make that rebellion, they're gonna use her. But you have to imagine that these 23 or 22 years passed, and a girl like Maeve, she has to be a legend, you know, an host who fought with humans against the host and who can control us. Like, she has to be a legend, like, really, they have to know about her. For sure, Frankie, she knows about her, but also all of the other ones, they have to know about Maeve. That's gonna be so weird and so cool for Maeve to come back into a world like that. It's gonna be weird also, really weird. Caleb... yes, they are trying to make an host based on who he was, but he's such, you know, a free spirit that you can't control him, and that's why all of these versions of him are fighting since so long, and you can't create him and you can't create a narrative for him because he's not made like that. I can't really process the fact that Caleb, the real Caleb, is dead. You know, at the beginning of the episode, with that flashback, I was beginning to cry to imagine that he died on that beach, you know, on that moment, and that in fact in the beginning we had an host. And now that I know for sure that Caleb is dead and that it's an host that we have and that we're gonna have for the future, I can't cry because I can't process that information. Maeve and Caleb, I said it, I love their relationship so much, their friendship, the fact that, you know, they understand each other so much with just a look, and you know, their complicity, I really love that. And I love the fact that they didn't make their relationship a love interest at any point. I love that. But since 2 episodes, I have the impression that they put, you know, some little things about a potential love relationship. We had Maeve, who was not jealous, but was intervening when some girls, you know, girls us were trying to flirt with Caleb, and we had some moments when they were close, physically close, you know, to each other. And right there, the fact that she was worried about him dying and she stayed for that long, and she said that she was confronted to something that she never lived before, you know, mortality, and that in a way she hated that, to imagine that he could die, that it really, you know, disturbed her a lot, and she chose to sacrifice herself so he could have a life and a normal life, and she was okay to sacrifice herself, but no matter what, she couldn't resist to know what was happening to him, to search for him. So, you know, I still love a lot their relationship, their friendship, the fact that they are so close to each other, the fact that they understand so much each other. I still love the fact that it's not a love relationship and just a friendship, but they are beginning to put stuff for people to ship them. And I'm not sure of the idea. We'll see how it's gonna end, you know, what they're gonna do with it. If Frankie is right there searching for her dad, where is her mother? I hope that she's not dead. Christina, she met Teddy. Oh, it's so cool. He woke up. Oh, we are okay with that idea. He knows who he is, he knows who she is. At least it gave me that impression. And the fact that we saw him some episodes ago looking at her like that, spying on her like that, I really think that he knows. I have the impression really that he wants to wake her up little by little, you know, to give her the chance of waking up like she wants, you know, and to see her reactions and to see if she's gonna do like OG Dolores or is she gonna act differently. But the fact that now we know that it's not a futurist world of Westworld and it's the reality, you want to wake her up, okay, but for what You know, for what and for what purpose? Because into this world, hosts are living their lives as they want, as they were created still. Ah, that's a real question, you know, that's a real metaphysic question. Into this world, humans that are controlled by that parasite, for sure. And the hosts, are they free or not? I don't think so. Because they are not awake. Christina-Dolores, she's not awake, and you know that guy also was blaming her because of the story that she wrote for him. Same, you know, he didn't like his life and he was an host. So that's why I'm not sure in fact that into this world anyone is free. None of the humans for sure because they are controlled by the parasites, but even the hosts, they are not free. They didn't wake up, they don't know who they are. Or maybe only the ones like Teddy who are awake and who are choosing still to live this life. Maybe something like that. That's a real question, you know, that's a real metaphysic question. And I think that Christina-Dolores, when she's gonna wake up, with what we know of Dolores' mind, how she's functioning, I think that it's a question that she's gonna ask. Do you understand what I mean? Okay, it's a world in which we are free because we are not controlled by humans anymore, but we are not really free because we are not ourselves, because we are still obeying to the stories, the things which were created for us. Do you understand my logic right there? And what can be her logic? I really think that she's gonna think like that, Dolores. I mean, Christina-Dolores, and maybe that's why at some point she's gonna help our guys and they can be surprised by that. We need to destroy that tower. We're all okay with that idea. With Maeve. Okay, so now the present time, it's the future. It's weird to say it like that, but it's the case. It's the future in which Charlotte, she already won. She already did that to the reality. The reality is that now. It changed a lot of things for the characters. For sure, Caleb is dead. And it changed a lot of things also for the stories, for Maeve when she's gonna come back, for Charlotte, the fact that now she won't, for everything like that. Like, I don't need to rethink, you know, a lot of things, but to imagine what's gonna happen into the future, into the next episodes, for that it's changing a lot of things. Okay. It was cool, it was really cool, and it was a good idea, I think, made by the writers. Again, to put everyone into the same timeline, to not have that difficulty of such different timelines. I mean, you know, they already played with time into a previous season, and they could do it because it was okay, they were not into the same timelines, but it was close to each other, you know, the actions were close to each other. Right there it was so different that it would have been a real difficulty. So that's why they found that solution, and I think that it's a pretty clever one. And because of that, it's also putting us into such another thing, you know, another story, new possibilities. It's almost, you know, like the real season, new season is beginning right there, and they needed these 4 episodes to introduce it. It's a little like that, in fact. Cool, really cool. Okay, it's all for me and for you for today, so it's all for me for now, so bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Great.